Hey guys, it's Ray here, and in this video I'm going to share with you how I became a product manager with no degree or any experience. I'll be sharing with you my personal story, but in future videos, I'll share some more practical advice so you can land a product role or any professional job for that matter. So stay tuned and subscribe if you're interested. So I currently work as a product manager in a Big Four bank in Sydney, Australia. And there's a lot of different types of product manager roles out there throughout the product lifecycle. So specifically what I do in my job is I develop banking products in the business banking space. It could be uplifting products, it could be developing new products. So a lot of the role would involve me talking to a lot of people, having a lot of meetings, pretty much having people come together and work on a project together to bring these products or features alive. The pay is pretty good, if I can say so myself. And the workload, yeah, it's quite manageable. So I started working at the bank as a phone operator. Hello, how can I help you? So I would answer about 100 calls a day and just talking to customers. This is where I helped everyday people like your mums and dads. And I would answer their inquiries, help them with any of their banking questions or online inquiries. And yeah, it was pretty rough. It was a pretty rough gig. It was call after call. So I think it does take a special kind of person to be able to endure this kind of job. So shout out to any contact center workers out there or anyone who has worked in a contact center before. It can be quite rough and stressful. So yeah, I did that for about a year and a half. Built a lot of resilience. I've worked in other call center jobs before, so that was quite an easy transition for me. And that introduced me to the banking world. That's how I got my foot into the door of working at a bank. Just for a contact center, a very entry-level job, no experience needed. Bam, shaboom, shabim, shabam. And I got in. So after doing that for about a year and a half, I moved on to another job, and this was in workforce planning. So for those who don't know, workforce planning, they're a very important part of the contact center where instead of being the person on the phone, I was now the person who was looking at all of the numbers, the call volumes that were coming into the contact center. So in this job, I became an analyst. My title was called a real-time analyst. So I'll be looking at the call volumes coming into the contact center. I'll be scheduling people, their shifts and their work. And there's a bit of number analytical work. But again, this is an entry role. There's no experience needed to really get into this. It's just a matter of you applying, you having belief in yourself, your ability to sell yourself, which I'll make a video about in the future. So again, consider subscribing if you're interested to look into that. You know the cliche they say, you are the people you hang around. And I was hanging around a lot of these product manager, product analyst friends of mine. Remember we were getting quite close. I'd tend to play some cheap poker games with them. Anyway, by talking with my friends, I realized, if they can be product managers or product analysts, I can be it as well. I didn't see that they were, anything. They weren't like crazy geniuses, and neither am I. They were nice people, they were great people. We were playing poker, and it's a game of strategy and thinking, and sometimes I'll think, hey, I can outbeat this guy in the game, and you know what? I'm gonna take your job as well. No, really. I think just from having exposure to these people, it made me realize, you know what? I think I can do this as well. It's actually not that crazy of a job. It's not rocket science. It's just a lot of soft skills that you need to get better at. With this newfound motivation, I began applying for different roles, and I think I applied for like 20 to 30 roles. Didn't hear anything back initially, but finally I got an interview after applying for 30 freaking applications. So I went for the interview. I definitely, prepared myself, and this was for a product manager role, right? And I was an analyst at the time, and completely unrelated. I was a real-time analyst in workforce planning, which was nothing to do with the product space. Anyway, I tried to sell myself the best I could, and I think I did pretty good, but I had failed that interview. I got through the first round. They asked me some hard questions, and anyway, I messed up, and I had failed the first interview. I kept applying for roles, and I shortly got another interview, where this time I did a little better. I remember I did the first round of interview and they quite liked me. This was in a product manager role in personal loans, which again, I wasn't really in that space. I came from everyday customers, everyday mums and dads. Anyway, got through the first rounds, which was great. They really liked me. I answered really good questions. I got better at my interview skills and I sent them a good, thank you email, stuff like that. Went through to the second round. Second round was with the executive managers and it was very tough. And I remember stumbling on a few questions and that was it. I had again failed that interview. And that is when I kind of realized, oh crap, you know what? Product manager, it's not as easy as I thought to get in. You do need to have ideally some experience to be able to get into this space. So I applied for some analyst roles and I applied for product analyst roles. And I found one in the everyday mums and dad customer space and did an interview with them. They liked me. I went through to the second rounds and I think I did really well once again. And I was told that they wanted me. So that was amazing. That was great. So I got the job. They gave me the job for a product analyst role. Unfortunately, what happened was this role was for a 12-month secondment. So what that meant was they would only give me this job. It's almost like a 12-month contract. I could only be in this job for 12 months. And because it was a contract, my existing role in the bank had the power to not let me go because it was for a secondment. And they fully exercised that power and they said to me, we're a bit tight, and I was a senior in the team at the time, so they really needed people to stay in the team. Pretty shitty things happened, but yeah, I got the job, but they didn't let me go. So I ended up telling them, they told them that they couldn't let me go. So I didn't end up doing that job as a product analyst. You know what? This kind of encouraged me more because I knew that I got the job. So I knew that I was capable of doing, I knew my interview skills were like at its peak and I was doing interviewing very well. So I applied for another product analyst role, but this time it was in business banking. Now I came from the everyday banking space, so I didn't know anything about business or business banking. Gave it a shot anyway. I applied, I got an interview. By this point, I was very well seasoned, I was well trained to do this interview. And I took the interview and I killed it. They gave me the job and I became a product analyst in business banking. So I worked as a product analyst and I've learned more and I got some training on the job. A lot of it was soft skills, to be honest. And yeah, by the grace of God, after a year and a half, they promoted me as a product manager. And that, my friends, is how I became a product manager in the bank, in business banking, where I had no degree or any experience at the field. Some key takeaways I would say is you need to get your foot in the door. That's number one. You need to have a strong mindset and self-belief that you can do it, like how I did with my friends. You need to build up your soft skills over time. And finally, you need to kill the interview and you need to get good at doing interviews. I will definitely make some videos in the future about some of these skills that I just touched upon and some of these key things. I think it will help you get some value if you're interested to become a product manager, or I really do believe if you want to take any sort of professional role. That's all I wanted to share in this video. Hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.